Amsterdam, the 1970s. It was here that the famous Dutch kickboxing school was founded. In the early 1980s, Dutch fighters were conquering rings around the world. One of them was a young, slender blonde, whose extraordinary fighting style and devastating punches and kicks significantly distinguished him from other fighters. And his name was forever etched in kickboxing history and became synonymous with the sport. His blistering low kicks literally knocked opponents off their feet in rings from Bangkok to packed arenas in Paris. Before this happened, he had come a long and arduous journey, one that was paid for with sweat and blood. Rob Kaman was born on June 5, 1960, in Amsterdam. He came from a large family and was one of 7 siblings. From childhood, young Kaman was distinguished by his good physical fitness and love of sports. As a teenager, he played football for the local club Ajax Amsterdam. For several years, he played for the club's youth national team. However, he was never a team player. He was drawn to sports that allowed for more individual development and one-on-one contact with opponents. At the age of 16, he abandoned football and began training in Pencak Silat, an Indonesian martial art. Pencak is a full-body martial art that utilizes throwing, striking, and kicking. Despite its versatility, this sport didn't fully satisfy his growing thirst for competition. After less than 2 years of training, his attention was drawn to a sport that was becoming increasingly popular worldwide. Unlike the Indonesian martial art, it offered far greater opportunities in full contact competition. The first impetus for his change of fighting style came from witnessing an exhibition fight by Lucien Carbin, a future European Kyokushin Karate Champion, World Kickboxing Champion, and European Savate and Muay Thai Champion. Kaman decided to follow the path of a fighter several years older. As he himself put it, "It opened my eyes. I saw a complete, intelligent sport that combined speed and strength." He began training at the renowned Medjiro Gym. Initially, he was trained by Carbin. Later, Jan Plas, the founder and creator of Medjiro in the Netherlands, took over. Plas opened the school in 1975, and 3 years later, many outstanding fighters were training at his gym. Young Roby began training in 1978, and among older, more experienced teammates, explored the secrets of Muay Thai and kickboxing. This developed a strong spirit and a fierce, competitive spirit. His rigorous training at Medjiro Gym quickly yielded results. Robert Kaman made his debut after just 4 months of training and suffered his first defeat. He lost on points in Paris to Pierre Carrillo, the European French boxing champion. This defeat fueled his even greater desire to train. This was what distinguished him from the start: his tenacity and his immense desire to improve. After 7 months, he returned to the ring and achieved his first victory. That same year, he won 3 fights. This victory gave the young Kaman a boost, and from that moment on, he began a string of victories. He won his next 2 fights to win the vacant Dutch championship title in his 11th fight. This victory immediately promoted him. In September, he appeared in the Netherlands versus Japan match in his hometown. It was a great challenge, both in terms of skill and mentality. For the first time in his career, Kaman would face a fighter from the land of samurai. Since the 1960s, Japanese kickboxers have been engaging in devastating duels with Thai boxers, aiming to determine which fighting school and style was superior. Combining Kyokushin karate techniques with boxing, they created their own form of kickboxing, In the 1970s, competitors from the United States joined the competition. In the early 1980s, they faced off against European competitors, with Dutch kickboxers leading the way. Rob Kaman faces his first major test, and he doesn't disappoint. He literally demolishes Japanese fighter Akira Saito in the first round, sending him to the floor 5 times. The Japanese fighter's corner spares him further pain and surrenders him, throwing in the towel. Just 2 months after his valuable victory, Kaman returns to the Japan-Netherlands match, and this time wins again, knocking out his opponent in the second round. Having endured a roller coaster of ups and downs at the beginning of his career, his fortitude grows. Facing adversity and facing every opponent, he confirms that he is already a valuable fighter. His efforts are soon recognized. That same year, Kaman flew to Thailand. There, on the outskirts of beautiful Pattaya, he began rigorous training at the famous Sityodtong camp. The Sityodtong camp is a true mecca for Muay Thai fighters and the cradle of champions. In Thailand, Kaman discovered a completely different side of Muay Thai, both mentally and athletically. Along with other fighters from the Netherlands, he received valuable lessons and explored the secrets of Muay Thai, training with the great champions of the era. He set himself the goal of fighting local fighters. Defeating Thai champions was a mark of honor, a goal that, at the time, seemed beyond the reach of non-Thai fighters. Thai boxers have been training in Muay Thai since childhood, often beginning their careers at an early age. For many, it's the only way to earn a living. By the time they reach adulthood, many of them have dozens of fights under their belts, bearing the scars of years of bloody battles. Kaman's efforts are rewarded when, after several months of training, he lands a fight with local fighter Denoy Lerdreong, and he makes the most of it, finishing the fight prematurely in the second round. It was an admirable feat, and Kaman claimed his first Thai scalp, joining the rare list of fighters who can boast a victory over a native Thai. This victory significantly boosted Robert's prestige and served as a crucible, opening up new opportunities for him. As it turned out, in the near future, this was only the beginning of a long journey that would see him engage in deadly battles with Thai champions. Kaman returned from Thailand in late December 1981, and just 4 months later, another challenge awaited him. On April 4th, 1982, he faced Blinky Rodriguez, brother-in-law of the famous Benny Urquidez. In the USA versus Netherlands match, the results of his rigorous training in Thailand were revealed for the first time. Rob Kaman, cheered on by his compatriots, defeated his experienced opponent, devastating him with devastatingly powerful low kicks. This was a turning point in the young Rob's career. Thanks to this victory, in such style and with virtually no problems against such an experienced opponent, Kaman climbed several levels, and arenas around the world opened up to him. In October of the same year, Kaman fought another fight, which he won early. Fueled by his growing success, at the beginning of the year he was recruited to the Dutch national team to compete with other fighters in Bangkok for the Netherlands-Thailand match. There, the powerful Laktsart Sor Prasatporn awaited him. Kaman faced a formidable challenge, the most difficult of his career to date. The rock-solid Thai pressed the Dutchman from the very first minute, constantly pushing forward, completely unfazed by his attacks. It could be said that he adopted Kaman's fighting style. The relentless Thai's combinations of elbows and knees completely threw the Dutchman off balance. The Thai fighter's experience outstripped Kaman's abilities. The Dutchman lost the fight on points, fighting a grueling 5-round battle. It must be admitted that, for his second fight in Thailand, the organizers presented him with a very difficult challenge. This fight gave Kaman valuable experience, and his distinguished performance gave him the opportunity to compete further. It was only a prelude to what awaited him in the future. The fight in Bangkok was only the first in a trilogy against Laktsart, and a prelude to fights with incredibly tough Thai fighters. The Bangkok fight resonated across Europe and significantly boosted Kaman's standing, so much so that he was offered a shot at the European Muay Thai Championship title. On June 27, 1983, he entered the ring in Paris to fight local idol Christian Bafir. The fight ended almost as quickly as it began, and the final result was quite bizarre. After a fierce opening, both fighters connected with left hooks. Kaman's punch proved more powerful, and Christian Bafir was unable to continue the fight before the referee counted to 10. The European Championship belt adorned the Dutch fighter's waist. Less than 3 months after the Paris fight, John Moncayo, the WKA super middleweight world champion, arrives in Amsterdam from across the pond. Kaman has a huge opportunity to win more than just a world championship. He could become the first European world champion in history. The fight is fought under rules that allow low kicks and lasts less than 1 round. Moncayo lunges at the Dutchman. In the heat of the moment, Kaman lands a kick in the stomach on the falling Moncayo, unable to stop his speeding leg. Moncayo doubles over in pain. Kaman explains the situation. The referee restarts the fight. After the restart, Moncayo is on the attack again. The fight degenerates into a veritable theater of falls and shoves. The world champion suddenly collapses into the ring and writhes in pain again. This time, the situation sparked controversy, but this time, the kick was clean. Kaman triumphs. He becomes the first world champion from Europe. Rob Kaman doesn't give himself much time to rest. On January 12, 1984, Payop Pemchai, the Thai Muay Thai champion, arrives in the Netherlands. Fighting with Premchai was a difficult challenge. He is a very experienced fighter. He had been fighting since the age of 14, and by the age of 17, he had nearly 40 fights under his belt. In the early 1980s, he became a dominant fighter in Thailand, competing in higher weight classes. Having trouble finding a fighter within his weight limit, he sought fights outside of Thailand. The fight was fierce from the start, with plenty of back-and-forth exchanges of punches and kicks. After the first round, the Thai appeared to be the dominant. Early in the second round, Kaman lands a powerful right jab. Taj falls, but quickly gets back up, and the Dutchman goes on the offensive. In the third round, Payop steps up the pace. Kaman locks in a clinch, saving himself from a knockdown. Neither is willing to back down. The tension between the fighters slowly becomes apparent. Early in the fifth round, Kaman lands a beautiful roundhouse kick on Payap. A kick like that would knock the average man out of his shoes. When the bell rang to end the fight, both fighters were completely drained of air. It was a truly brutal battle of attrition, with both fighters showing no mercy, but ultimately, it was the Dutchman who got the upper hand. After a tough fight with the Thai fighter, any normal person would take a longer break. But not Kaman, who, less than 3 months after the fight in Amsterdam, flies to the United States. A rematch with John Moncayo awaits him in the States. Many experts believed that Kaman won the first fight thanks to an accidental kick. A decision was quickly made to fly the Dutch fighter to the States for verification. The fight unfolded similarly to the previous year. Moncayo focused on attacking and pressed forward. Kaman tempered his momentum with powerful low kicks. After one such kick, Moncayo fell to the floor and was counted out. However, he quickly recovered and refused to give up the fight in the first round. Everything changes in the third round. Kaman cuts short the American dream of victory with a right jab. The Dutchman raises his arms in triumph. No one can tell him now that his victory was a fluke. This time, Kaman takes a longer break, returning to the ring in October. He travels to Switzerland, where he wins the European Full Contact Championship title, once again defeating, this time on points, a local idol, the experienced Jean-Marc Tonnes. Kaman's victory was no surprise, and the Dutchman boasted a double European championship, being the only fighter in Europe at the time to hold both full contact and Muay Thai championship titles. He also held a world championship. A month after his European title fight, Kaman knocked out Thai fighter Samart Prasarnmit in the second round. It's worth noting that a year earlier, Samart defeated Don Wilson on points in an exhibition fight, knocking him down 4 times. The champion was twice counted out, and Samart nearly knocked him out, exceeding the Thai fighter's wildest expectations. Wilson explained the defeat by saying he had to cut weight just hours before the fight and was dehydrated. In February 1985, Kaman defended his world title in his hometown against a very tough American fighter, Larry McFadden. From the first minute, Kaman torpedoed McFadden's thighs. After one of these kicks, he fell to the American's counterattack. He fell, but quickly got back up. The referee seemed to overlook the situation and allowed the fight to continue. In the third round, the Dutchman has already sensed the situation and shows no mercy to McFadden's thighs. The master's true low kick dance begins. He completely throws his opponent off balance and knocks him out with a powerful punch. The American falls flat on his face in the ring and takes a long time to regain consciousness. To everyone's utter surprise, the referee restarts the fight, and McFadden somehow comes back to life. Not for long. Moments later, he falls to the mat motionless after a powerful low kick. And this time, he doesn't quickly get back up. 3 months after successfully defending his title, Kaman steps into the ring against a fighter whose fight is etched in his memory. He faces Lakchart Sor Prasartporn himself in a rematch. The Thai fighter is witnessing firsthand the progress the Dutch fighter has made. He's no longer the same fighter taking his first steps in Muay Thai. After 2 exploratory rounds, Kaman corners Lakchart in the third. After a flurry of punches, the Thai fighter sits down completely dazed and unable to continue the fight. Rob Kaman's career was halted in 1985 when he was sentenced to 18 months in prison for robbery. Kaman returned to the ring in October 1986. In front of a packed audience at an Amsterdam sports hall, Kaman put the American kickboxer through 6 rounds, mercilessly drilling his thighs with powerful low kicks. Ernest Simons, ultimately unable to emerge unaided by the 7th round, resumed his climb to the top. In February 1987, Rob Kaman faced his compatriot Ernesto Hoost, a fighter whose name would later become no less famous in the world of kickboxing. The young, tall, and promising kickboxer, with only 12 fights under his belt, was almost at the beginning of his illustrious career in the mid-1980s. He cemented his position with a fight against the legendary Jean-Yves Thrilot, the world middleweight champion, unexpectedly putting up a close fight. However, it wasn't a title fight. The fight with Rob Kaman was supposed to be another step forward. Rob Kaman took Ernesto Hoost to a real fighting school. The young fighter's skills at the time were insufficient for someone with Kaman's experience. Hoost, however, showed that he had potential, and by fighting a much more experienced opponent, he learned valuable lessons. Rob Kaman is a fighter who matures very quickly and learns and draws conclusions even faster. This clearly influences his consistent fighting style, aimed at destroying his opponent. He does all this wisely and intelligently. Payap Premchai, who returned to the Netherlands after 3 years, was to witness his methodical development. At the end of May 1987, he fought Kaman in a rematch and became another Thai fighter to witness the progress the Dutchman had made. For the first 2 rounds, Kaman focused on powerful punches and kicks. He didn't overdo it with unnecessary movements. His form that day seemed several levels ahead of the Thai. The 3rd round consisted of clinches and back and forth. Payap received a warning for a foul knee kick. In the 4th round, Kaman increases the pace, knocking out the Thai fighter's mouth guard. The same thing happens in the 5th round, which may be a deliberate move by the Thai fighter. Halfway through the round, Payap slows down significantly. Kaman breaks up his exhausted opponent, finishing him off in the corner. Payap sits down, no longer having the strength to continue the fight. Later that same year, Kaman delivered a devastating first-round knockout of American kickboxer Roger Hurd. Two months later, he finished the fight even faster in Japan, completing his trilogy with Lokchart. Lokchart was forced to refight after a powerful punch to the stomach. The tough battles with Thai fighters yielded results. In early February 1988, Kaman entered the ring in Paris to fight for the WMTA Muay Thai World title. His opponent was 2-time Thai champion Krongsak Sacharanchai. This is another outstanding Thai fighter who left his homeland to fight in the West. The first round was spent testing their limits. In the second round, both fighters increasingly engaged in the clinch typical of Muay Thai, with elbows and knees added. In the third round, both fighters significantly accelerated the fight. In the fourth round, the fight became even more dynamic. The fifth round was evenly matched. The Thai threw the Dutchman to the mat,
Kaman chased the Thai around the ring as if he felt he was losing points. The bell rang. Krongsak won, a decision Kaman was not entirely satisfied with.
Kaman missed his chance to become a world champion in Muay Thai. Another opportunity to fight for the title came very quickly. Just a month after his fight in France, the Dutchman flew to Japan for the second time. His popularity in the land of the samurai is demonstrated by the fact that he had 6 more fights that same year, 5 of which took place in Japan. In March, he faced Englishman Kirkwood Walker. The fight will be for the WKA light heavyweight world title. Kirkwood is a solid kickboxer, the British champion. The Englishman quickly learned that the reputation of Kaman's kicks was not exaggerated. The Dutchman took the initiative from the outset, methodically pummeling the British representative. The difference in class was all too apparent. In the second round, however, he manages to shake the overconfident Dutchman, and in the third round, he proves that he shouldn't be underestimated. The fight takes an unexpected turn. However, he quickly regains his footing, and in the fourth round, Kaman demolishes the Englishman. Interestingly, in 1988, Rob Kaman fought a boxing match with German fighter Rudi Koopmans. The fight, like its result, was unremarkable for the Dutchman. After a 7-round bout, the fight was declared a draw, ending Kaman's boxing career. That same month, Dutchman quickly dispatched Sitisiak, a Thai fighter, at a gala in Amsterdam, knocking him out in the first round. Exactly 2 months later, in Tokyo, with a powerful right jab in the first round, he shut out the Thai fighter Hansu Premchai for a long time. After a spectacular victory, just 2 months have passed, and Kaman once again faces a major battle in the Japanese capital. This time, his opponent is American Santiago Garza. The American is ranked at number 2 in the WKA rankings. He attacks the reigning world champion without any respect. Garza is a strong fighter, but Kaman breaks him in the second round and begins his triumphant march to victory. He quickly puts his title rivalry out of his mind. Three months later, Kaman appears in the great battle for the 4th time. This time, his opponent is the powerfully built Galib Carmichael, the North American champion. Mr. Low Kick quickly makes it clear to the American that muscle alone doesn't win a fight. After 2 rounds, which were merely a formality, he finishes the fight in the manner he's become accustomed to. At the end of November, Kaman participates in the final edition of the Great War, knocking out Irish fighter Sean O'Brien. This concludes 1988 with a string of intense fights, incredible efficiency, and an impressive number of fights in less than 12 months, all while flying to a country thousands of miles away. At the turn of the 1980s and 1990s, life presented Kaman with a truly unique experience. At the beginning of the year, he was invited to the United States by the renowned Don Wilson. The great champion, nearing the end of his career, offered Kaman a role in his first film. Blood Fist was released on VHS in September and generated considerable interest. It was a time when many combat sports athletes were trying their hand at the big screen. Rob Kaman also took advantage of this tempting offer. The Hollywood trip, however, had a poor impact on Rob Kaman's athletic performance, both physically and mentally. He was simply on another planet. In early April, Rob Kaman defended his world title against his compatriot Jan Wessels, a young and talented fighter.
Kaman was not only supposed to be the star of the event, but also its organizer. Still reeling from Hollywood influences, he had no head for the fight. He lost miserably to Vessels, and early. There are no recordings of the incident, so one can only guess how devastating the defeat was. Nevertheless, it resonated strongly within the kickboxing community. Combining an acting career with a sports career and managerial duties wasn't a good idea. There were opinions that the champion, now approaching 30, was already coming to the end of his life.
Kaman wasn't about to hang up his gloves and decided to prove everyone wrong. 5 months after his unfortunate defeat, he appeared at another major Japanese-organized event. Kaman's opponent was an American fighter of Japanese descent, Don "Nake" Nielsen. The Dutchman's superiority in every aspect was so significant that a knockout victory was only a matter of time. The sheer intensity of Kaman's career as a kickboxer is demonstrated by the fact that by the end of 1989, he had 4 fights, each just a month apart. On November 19th, after just 7 months, during which he had 2 fights, Rob Kaman faced Jan Vessels again. The rematch was for the lost world title. Bouts between kickboxers from the Netherlands generated enormous interest in the martial arts world, especially when the championship title was at stake. The first bout was evenly matched. In the second, the atmosphere heated up. And in lightning-fast, spectacular fashion, Rob Kaman regained the title.
Vessels looked around in astonishment. Took a very good punch there. The referee doing the count. And yes, he's out. The referee's counting him out. I just don't think he expected that at all, Vessels. He was very surprised.
Things hadn't even cooled off yet, and Rob Kaman found himself between the ropes again. On New Year's Eve in Paris, he faced his greatest Muay Thai challenge yet. He was scheduled to face the incredible Chang Puek Kyatsong Grit. Chang Puek is one of the most famous Muay Thai fighters in history. In 1989, the legendary fighter was at the very beginning of his illustrious international career. Chang Puek boasted a distinguished record of fights and victories against the best fighters from his country. He is one of the first Thai boxers to fight abroad. The year before his fight with Rob Kaman, he demolished the renowned Ricky Rufus. This was a major fight, pitting the Kickboxing Champion against the Muay Thai Champion in a freestyle bout. Chang Puek clearly demonstrated to the world the difference between a fighter who fights in classic full contact and one who prefers Muay Thai. He won the fight, later dubbed the bout that changed kickboxing, with a truly masterful performance, demonstrating the immense importance of thigh kicks. The Paris fight was the first in a trilogy of clashes with Rob Kaman, not counting their 4th bout at the K2 tournament. At stake for him was not only the IMTF world title, but also a ticket to prestigious international arenas. For Kaman, it was also an opportunity to finally win the coveted Muay Thai World Championship, and against such a distinguished fighter. It's no wonder then that the atmosphere before the fight was heated. After the opening bell, a ruthless contest begins. The Dutchman's increased activity is evident in the opening stages. The fight is incredibly tough, with Kaman winning the 1st and 2nd rounds. In the 3rd round, he reasserted his dominance. The 4th round was more even, but halfway through, Chang Puek began to gain the upper hand. The situation was similar in the 5th and final round. After the final bell, the Thai's hand rose, and the championship belt finally adorned his hips. For kickboxing fans, the new decade is opening with a bang. The reverberations from the Paris clash are still resonating, and on February 18, 1990, a rematch between Kaman and Changpuek takes place in Amsterdam. The fight unfolds similarly to the first. Of course, the first round is evenly contested and no less intense. In the second round, the Dutchman's advantage becomes clear, outscoring the Thai more and more frequently with each passing second. He has the upper hand in every aspect, excelling in counterpunching and outpunching. He asserts his confidence in his superiority after the bell rings at the end of each bout. In the third round, slight fatigue from the rigors of the fight is already visible, and both fighters increasingly clinch the fight. In the fourth round, despite extreme fatigue, Kaman literally brings Changpuek to his knees. He lands more powerful punches and asserts his dominance. The Thai fighter is rock solid and doesn't relent, but finally collapses as if struck by a powerful left hook from Kaman. The Dutchman completes his victory and captures the coveted Muay Thai World title. Exactly 1 month after winning the Muay Thai Championship, Kaman was invited to Japan. There, he fought his first title defense. He knocked out Frenchman Dominic Sigler with incredible ease, sending him to the mat 4 times. After the 4th knockdown, the Frenchman literally collapsed flat on his back in the ring, unable to get up on his own. Kaman enters the new decade not only as a world champion, but also as an incredibly mature and complete fighter. The changes that occurred in his fighting style throughout his career reached a culmination with the turn of the century. He became an extremely calculated, intelligent fighter, not charging, keeping his opponent in check, and focusing on single, powerful strikes. He devastated opponents, not only with devastating low kicks, but also with punches of unimaginable power. His style evolved to extraordinary heights, with counterpunches and lunging attacks becoming Kaman's main strength. The trilogy concludes in Thailand at Lumpini Stadium, just 2 months after their second meeting. The first bout is played out very conservatively, by feel. They've already learned their limits, and both know what they're capable of. With the second bell, a veritable barrage of blistering low kicks begins. Driven by a desire for revenge, Changpuek begins to dominate. It's a true war of attrition. The Thai's attacks are unstoppable. After the bell rang for the final bout, there was no sign of euphoria from either fighter, although the Thai's advantage was evident. It was an incredibly fierce, hard-fought fight, undoubtedly the toughest for Kaman against Changpuek. The Dutchman could have been the first non-Thai to defend his championship title at Lumpini Stadium against a native Thai, but ultimately he failed. After his third meeting with Changpuek, Kaman fights in Amsterdam, where he knocks out the Frenchman Eddie Mathieu in the first round, checking off his presence on the ISKA organization's list in a classic full contact. June 30th, 1990. Kaman defends his WKA world title. It's worth noting that up until this fight, he had fought 8 fights in 9 months, 4 of which were for world titles. The last one was 4 weeks earlier. It must have been a roller coaster of emotions, especially since his son was born before the fight. Kaman's opponent is Peter the Hurricane Smith. Kaman's compatriot, whose name is etched in the history of Dutch kickboxing with letters no less important than Dutchman's. Peter Smith's biography is a true hurricane, as his nickname suggests. He was named after a Kyokushinkai karate competition held in 1985, which Peter won, defeating 6 opponents in quick succession. It was said at the time that he became a champion as quickly as a hurricane. During his short, up-and-down career, he won numerous championship titles. Until this fight, he was the WKA European Champion and the European Kyokushin Karate Champion. The Hurricane attacked the champion without any respect. His multitude of techniques and incredible mobility clearly demonstrate that he deserves his nickname. A veritable barrage of punches and kicks rained down on Kaman. Smith responds to one of Kaman's punches with several. Peter's mobility is incredible. A complete ADHD. In the 7th round, the champion is double counted. In the 9th, doctors bandaged Kaman's cut ear. The 10th round brought the inevitable. What was going through Kaman's mind, both before and after the fight, only he knows. Joy for his newborn son, and grief for losing his 2nd world title in just 2 months. A month after his devastating title loss, Rob Kaman fights in Japan. He dispatches the confident Yoshinori Nishi in a swift and effective manner. Two months later, Kaman steps into the ring in Amsterdam for a rematch with Ernesto Hoost. Hoost is no longer the same fighter he was before the fight 3 years earlier. He has won several important titles, including the ISKA European Muay Thai and Full Contact Champion and the WKA European Champion. The fight with Kaman was meant to ultimately determine who was the better fighter. It was an event that all kickboxing and Muay Thai fans in the Netherlands were eagerly anticipating. The initial phase of the fight is evenly matched. For the first 2 rounds, both fighters are neck and neck. There's a beautiful exchange of punches and powerful low kicks from both sides. From the middle of the 3rd round, Hoost gains momentum. He no longer has the uncertainty of 3 years ago. It's clear he's significantly improved his kickboxing skills. The fight is fierce and full of incredible techniques. The action and situations change like a kaleidoscope. First 1, then 2. Ultimately, Rob Kaman wins, knocking Hoost out in the 5th round. Rob Kaman desperately needed this victory to rebuild his mental strength. After his disastrous loss to Peter Smith, most people thought he was finished and had no chance against younger opponents. By defeating Ernesto Hoost, he proved them wrong. Kaman Hoost's 2nd fight was considered the best fight ever held in Europe, and many experts consider it the best in history. The win over Hoost significantly strengthened Kaman's position, as his next opponent was the new full-contact low-kick world champion, Dutchman Luc Verhey.
This would have been a rematch with Peter Smith, but Smith lost the title during his defense against Verhey due to injury. Kaman entered the event, dubbed the Paris Thriller, fully focused and full of hopes of regaining the title. From the very beginning, Kaman severely torpedoed Verhey's thighs, who wanted to prove that it wasn't just the previous champion's bad luck that made him worthy of the title. In the second round, Kaman landed a punch and the count began. In the third round, the situation changed completely, and Kaman was the one who was counted out.
Verhey's barrage of attacks begins between the ring ropes. It's a miracle that Kaman wasn't counted out a second time. In the fourth round, the horrors of the hurricane fight return. In the fifth, Kaman sees his chance, noticing his opponent's severely swollen right eye. Due to an eye injury, Luke Verhey is not allowed to continue into the sixth round. The world title belt is back in Kaman's hands, and Luke Verhey goes from lucky to unlucky. However, his performance earned him great praise and respect for facing one of the best kickboxers in the world with dignity and determination. Four months later, Rob Kaman returns to Paris to fight Gio Polgio, a fighter from Bosnia and Herzegovina. This is a full-contact, ranked fight with no low kicks. Early in the first bout, Kaman lands 2 fouls, once in the groin, the second time in the throat. In the second bout, the Balkan fighter unexpectedly knocks Kaman down. Nowadays, such a move would have resulted in a count-out. At the start of the fifth round, a minor upset ensues. A towel flies from Polgio's corner. It turns out the Bosnian fighter has injured his foot and is unable to continue. Kaman wins his second consecutive fight due to his opponent's injuries. The fight with Gio Polgio was just a foretaste of the real event, which was to be a fight with Rick Rufus for the ISKA Classic Full Contact World Championship belt. Rufus triumphantly returned to the throne after brutally knocking out Marek Piotrowski 6 months earlier. The clash of 2 champions in 2 different kickboxing formats generated enormous interest around the world. Rufus, alongside Jean-Yves Trulot and Don Wilson, is considered the greatest classic full-contact kickboxer in history. He'd been involved in martial arts since childhood. Until his fight with Kamanemi, he held 3 world titles in 3 different weight classes. The most valuable, of course, was the one he recently won against the Polish fighter, which was not only motivated by his sporting goals, but also his personal ones. It was no secret that Rufus was chasing Marek out of revenge for his defeat 2 years earlier, and for robbing him of the chance to face Don Wilson himself, which probably hurt him the most. 4 days before Christmas Eve 1991, the 2 great champions met in the ring in Paris. From the outset, Rufus outscored Kaman like a chess player. His style is pure finesse and the epitome of full contact. Kaman's lack of his main weapon, the low kick, is palpable. Rufus has mastered keeping his opponent at bay with his so-called long leg. At 180 centimeters tall, his kicks have an impressive reach, especially since he extends them with his characteristic approach to the target. The results are evident in the second round. A quick, loose shot like a whip, and Kaman falls as if electrocuted. Straight to the point. At the end of the fourth round, Kaman finally catches up with Rufus. He comes close to sending the American to the mat, but the organizer's carelessness prevents him from finishing. In the next round, he takes the initiative, resulting in a veritable spectacle of volatile action. Kaman regains his composure. In the seventh round, Kaman again faces a crisis.
Rufus wins the fight on points, which he certainly deserves. He was the more active fighter, and his actions outshone the Dutchman's versatile attacks. Unfortunately, there is one controversy, if not a scandal, associated with the match's outcome. Kaman's camp filed an official protest, declaring that the fight should be nullified. This was due to the fact that the fourth round did not go the full distance and was shortened by almost half, lasting only 1 minute and 12 seconds. The Dutchman's staff believed that the fourth round was crucial for Rob Kaman, and the fight could have turned out differently if not for the organizers' carelessness. Due to a protest, the fight was declared a no contest. To this day, debate continues as to how the fight would have turned out if it had been fought under low kick rules. After his ill-fated fight with Ricky Rufus, Kaman is fighting in Japan. The bout is being held under the rules of so-called hybrid wrestling, promoted by the Japanese organization Rings. Throws and kicks are allowed, but punches can only be delivered with an open hand. The Dutchman's opponent is Nobuaki Kakuda, a Japanese karateka and bodybuilder. In the first and second rounds, Kaman calmly ground the Japanese fighter with low and high kicks. In the third, Kakuda springs into action, but is quickly stopped by a powerful low kick. He falls and is unable to get up on his own for a long time. After a few minutes, he manages to get back up and continues the fight. Kaman quickly takes him to the ground and finishes the fight on the mat. Just 1 month later, Kaman won the WKA Super Light Heavyweight World Championship belt under full contact low kick rules. He won the title with virtually no effort, stunningly knocking out Englishman Mark Russell early in the second round. Kaman's next fight is in Japan, a month after winning the championship. His opponent is Adam Watt. From the outset, Watt takes the initiative, attacking his more experienced opponent without any respect. Kaman cools the young fighter's fiery temper with his own style, landing low kicks on his thighs. Watt's fighting style is quite chaotic, and he can certainly wear down his opponent with impulsive attacks. Kaman capitalizes on this in the second round, calming the Australian down with a powerful punch. The Watt fight was merely a warm-up before the next battle in Bangkok, where the Thai fighter awaited him. Sadao Kriatsongrit, the champion of Lumpini Stadium, with the telling nickname The Leopard, faced the Dutch champion on the stage of the legendary venue. In the initial phase of the fight, Kaman had the upper hand. He calmly controlled the fight, didn't charge, and focused on powerful single punches. The Thai leopard seemed to be gathering strength for a jump. The low kick exchanges were impressive. The Thai fighter was in no way inferior to the Dutchman in this regard. At the end of the second round, he landed a powerful punch on Kaman. In the fourth round, Lampard attacks with blistering kicks in typical Muay Thai style. The fight turns into a true battle for survival. The devastating fight lasts until the final bell, incredibly fierce and evenly matched, but Sadao ultimately prevails. The decisive round for him was the fourth, when he unleashed a massive attack on Kaman, putting everything he had on the line that day. On June 20th, 1992, Rob Kaman faced a great challenge and another chance to win the ISKA Super Middleweight World Championship. Opposing the Dutchman was Jean-Yves Trulot, the legendary kickboxer with a stony face and a cold gaze, which earned him the nickname Iceman. From the outset, Kaman asserted his dominance with several powerful punches. The Dutchman consolidated his position in the second and third rounds, revealing his superior strength as a fighter in a higher weight class. He used powerful roundhouse kicks to keep the Canadian from developing his attack. In the third round, the referee admonished Kaman for a foul sweep. This repeated itself in the fifth round, and Kaman lost a point.
The fight ends before the sixth round. The Canadian withdraws due to a leg injury, which was undoubtedly influenced by the Dutchman's dirty jabs.
Kaman thus adds the classic full-contact boxing belt to his existing world title with a low kick. But the most important trophy here isn't the belt, but the head of the Canadian, who has been undefeated in the ring for 13 years, since 1979.
2 months later, Kaman fought in Tokyo against the three-time Japanese karate champion. Masaki Satake, a very popular fighter in his home country, had only fought 3 times in professional kickboxing. He was known for his tough style and tenacity. The fight with Kaman was supposed to open his path to the world stage. The Japanese fighter is significantly heavier than the Dutchman, and despite his very low kickboxing record, he shows no respect for the champion. However, Kaman has the advantage of speed. After the fight was declared a draw, which was met with some dissatisfaction from the Japanese audience. The result, however, was insignificant, as it wasn't a ranking bout. However, it showed that Satake had the potential to be a good fighter, a fact he capitalized on in the future. Kaman's next fight is in Paris. On November 21st, 1991, the most famous Polish kickboxer, Marek the Punisher Piotrowski, arrived in the French capital. He was already a cult figure in Poland at the time, a true legend. The fight was for the ISKA World Championship belt under Oriental rules. Marek faced the biggest challenge of his career since his fight with Don Wilson. Coming off a defeat to Rick Rufus and the loss of his world title just a year earlier, Piotrowski issued a challenge to Kaman. From the outset, the Dutchman forced the Pole's thighs and scored with short, powerful punches. Marek seemed slightly lost, as if he couldn't find his way. After the first round, a deep gash appears on Kaman's shin, the result of Piotrowski's constant pounding of his legs. At the beginning of the second round, Marek attacks the Dutchman. Kaman responds brutally. Marek is counted out.
Great right hand that stunned Marek Piotrowski.
A moment later, the count is adjusted and repeated. In the third round, another count is taken. Throughout the entire round, Kaman unleashes a veritable barrage on the Pole's thighs. Piotrowski, despite being battered, doesn't give up. He constantly tries to surprise the Dutchman, but he remains unwavering in his hard, cold determination. After the fourth knockdown, the referee stops the uneven fight in the seventh round. The Paris fight demonstrated the gulf that separates fighters from classic full-contact fighters against a fighter with Muay Thai roots. Experience in the latter style separates both masters by eons. Kaman has extensive experience with low kicks, while Marek has only fought 3 times in this form. Several years of training in Kyokushin karate and becoming a Polish junior and senior champion in this form aren't enough to face a bombardier like Kaman. Piotrowski showed incredible fighting spirit and fortitude. It's hard to know who to admire more, Kaman for his cool, refined consistency, or Marek for his overwhelming will to fight. A month after his fight in Paris, Rob Kaman fights a rematch in Japan against Adam Watt. Adam isn't fighting as passionately as before, but even that doesn't prevent him from a quick finish, which came again in the second round.
Kaman's next fight comes 6 months later in Paris, where he wins by knockout. Another 4 months pass, and Kaman reappears between the ropes, this time in Amsterdam, to fight his compatriot Rick Vathrost. The fight doesn't last very long, ending in Kaman's typical second-round finish.
All of Kaman's recent fights have been merely a warm-up for the upcoming, historic first K2 tournament in Japan. There, between the ropes, in the quarterfinals of the Tokyo Grand Prix, Kaman meets his biggest rival, Changphuek Kriatsongrit. This is the fourth meeting between the two champions. Changphuek has noticeably grown since their last fight. He's not far behind the Dutchman in terms of muscle mass. Both fight very cautiously in the first round, knowing their respective abilities very well. In the second round, the complexion of the fight changes completely. A fierce exchange of punches results in a knockdown for Kaman. In this round, the Thai clearly shows his advantage. He shows a significant increase in physical strength. He counters the Dutchman's front kicks with incredibly powerful roundhouse kicks. In the third round, Changphuek fouled Kaman. The second half of the third round was scored for the Dutchman, but it had no impact on the outcome of the fight. The decisive factor in the Thai's victory was primarily a knockdown on the Dutchman and a devastating counterattack. Changphuek wins hands down.
Three years later, Kaman and Rufus face each other again in the ring in Paris. In their first fight, Rufus keeps his distance and unleashes long kicks on Kaman. He's incredibly agile and relaxed. Kaman catches his breath in the second half, quickening his pace and seizing a lightning-fast counterattack. Two razor-sharp left shots from Rufus end the fight unexpectedly in the second round. Kaman staggers to his feet. There's no question of continuing the fight. Rufus unequivocally puts an end to speculation about who is the best in classic full-contact fighting.
4 months after his defeat to Rick Rufus, Kaman returns to Paris to defend his ISKA world title under Oriental rules. His opponent is the French champion, Jérôme Turcan. In the first round, Kaman demonstrates why he's the champion. In the second round, Turcan begins to assert himself more boldly. In the third, Kaman senses Turcan's weak spot. Low kicks begin to fly. The fourth round begins with the Frenchman attacking. The Dutchman quickly stops him. After the third count, the referee stops the fight. After 5 months, Kaman returns to France to defend his title again, this time against a fighter from his home country, Orlando Breinberg. From the first minute, Kaman calmly outpoints his opponent. After the second bell, Orlando accelerates. Kaman cools his heated temper with powerful low kicks. The fight takes on the appearance of a slow execution. In the third round, Breinberg is counted out. Several powerful hooks and a powerful low kick complete the devastation. Looking at some of the fighters who faced Kaman, one cannot help but feel that it is only in the ring that they realize who and what they have to face. On January 7th, 1995, the K2 Grand Prix takes place in France. Kaman also confirmed his participation in the tournament. It would seem that such a highly decorated fighter is among the favorites. However,
Experts believe the 35-year-old champion is on the verge of retiring. Kaman faces Lavelle Robinson in his first quarterfinal bout. The fans greet the great champion with ovations. From the first round, Kaman calmly outpoints the American. The American fighter quickly learns the ropes of the old Dutch school of kickboxing, and Dutchman spectacularly wins his first fight in the tournament.
In the semi-finals, Kaman faced the outstanding Australian fighter Tasis Petridis. The Australian is not only of Greek descent, but also a highly talented kickboxer. He is a PKC World Champion. He won the title by defeating Tirlot. He was the next fighter after Kaman to take the Canadians' second belt. Tasis unleashed a massive attack from the first second. The fight was incredibly fierce, pitting incredible tenacity and ambition against experience and composure. In the second round, Petridis slowed the pace slightly. Kaman began scoring his opponent. After the first and second bells, both fighters had one round to their advantage. The third round was decisive, with Kaman declared the winner. The result was highly emotional. Many believed Petridis should have been the winner. In the final, the Dutchman faces Jerem Turkan, whom he defeated a year earlier. The fight is generating intense excitement, not just because of the rematch. Turkan is the tournament's home team fighter. The Frenchman is on the attack from the first second. Jerem rocks the Dutchman several times. Despite his extreme fatigue, the pace of the fight is impressive. At the end of the third round, the Frenchman unleashes another attack. Kaman is bleeding heavily from cuts on both eyebrows. The hard-fought battles over the years are taking their toll. Jerem sees this as his chance and resumes his attack in the fourth round. Suddenly, he slows down. Kaman senses his sudden weakness and surges forward, resulting in a count and, consequently, a stoppage. Experience overcame his impulsiveness. The badly injured Kaman returned to action in a fight where he seemed to be losing. By winning the French Grand Prix, he proved that he shouldn't be written off just yet. Five months later, Kaman returns to Paris. A rematch with Tasis Petridis awaits. The fight, contested under Muay Thai rules, is intended to dispel all speculation following the controversial result of their clash at the K2 tournament. The Australian attacks hard from the outset. The fight unfolds similarly to the tournament bout. The first round favors Petridis. The second bout opens with a furious attack from the Australian. Both fighters exchange powerful punches and kicks. A slight fatigue is already setting in. In the third round, the fight shifts into clinches and back and forth. At the beginning of the fourth round, the fighters clashed heads in an unfortunate manner. Kaman's eyebrow is severely damaged. The heavy bleeding caused the fight to be stopped, and the fight was ultimately declared a no contest. The fight didn't determine the winner, a fact we never learned. Kaman traveled to Milan for his next fight, where on September 9th, he faced Thai fighter Bunshim Rung. From the first minute, Kaman's dominance over the younger fighter was clear. He knocked the Thai off his feet with powerful low kicks. Rung attacked rapidly from the second round. Kaman smothered him with counters. The Thai didn't let up, attacking the Dutchman without respect. He was met with a beautiful counter elbow to the jaw. His dreams of victory were dashed. 3 elbow strikes were inevitable, but the consequences were bloody. In early 1996, Kaman arrived in Nagoya for the K1 Grand Prix tournament. In his first fight, he faced American kickboxer Jean-Claude Loyer. The Dutchman showed off his heaviest weight class in this bout.
However, none of his strengths diminished, a fact the younger fighter felt immediately after the opening bell. In the next bout, Kaman's advantage grew even further. Despite his increased weight and nearly 36 years, the Dutchman was in excellent form. In the third round, his strength waned, and Loyer went on the offensive. In the final, fifth round, Kaman unexpectedly collapsed to the mat and was no longer able to continue. His shins, dug in for years, finally revealed their invulnerability. Thanks to his opponent's injury, the American fighter advanced to the semifinals.
After the Japanese Grand Prix, Kaman puts his ring career on hold. He devotes his time to acting in films starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. With his good looks and iconic kickboxing status, Kaman is ideally suited to villainous roles. He appears in 2 more films, and in 1999, he fights his farewell fight and ultimately ends his career nowhere else but in the Amsterdam arena where it all began 21 years ago. He chooses Alexei Ignashov, a young Belarusian kickboxer just months removed from winning the Muay Thai World title, as his opponent. Both fighters are unsparing in their punches, and the tension grows with each passing minute. For Ignashov, this is a perfect opportunity to showcase his skills to a wider audience. After the fight, Kaman was announced as the winner, but he disagrees and, in a beautiful gesture, hands the victory to the Belarusian fighter.
Ik geef hierbij ook de overwinningsprijs.
Rob Kaman retired with a remarkable record of 112 fights, winning 97 of them, including 77 by knockout. With Kaman's retirement, an era has ended. The legendary Dutchman spectacularly combined 2 fighting styles, Muay Thai and kickboxing, and became one of the most famous and successful fighters in history. He is a pioneer not only of the Dutch, but also of the European school of kickboxing.